was looking forward to you coming on, obviously, but I'm terrified because I'm like sitting there going like, he's going to call me out. He's going to be like, you're not a real director.
Yeah, I knew it.
You haven't
That's
done
why
nothing.
I came. That's why I was looking forward to this, to call you out. Yeah. Yeah, to make
This is
my
like
imposter
becoming a
syndrome
nightmare.
feel a little bit better.
It's like just waking up.
Yeah.
It's like, wake up now. Oh man. It's the nightmare of being ousted, right? Like that's the So I think for me, when we talk about imposter syndrome, it's often from a lack of doing it. And so like you said, like going out and just doing it is going to result in, getting over that imposter syndrome and just going through it. So
yes, and I think I think some people have great confidence and they're good at hiding their imposter syndrome. I would say I'm the flavor of it. I've always been crippled with it, whether it's shown up on a feature set, a little commercial shoot, or even just filming like some random thing that a friend needed me to film. It's always in the back of my head, and it has never hindered my process. Anytime like I come home, I look at the footage, I'm like, oh my God, this is great. But boy, is there like this little demon in the corner, and he's always been there. So it might sound discouraging to anybody who might have it. To me, it's just I've been cursed with it forever. Maybe in 20, 30 years, I'll have a big ego and be fine. But I also think it keeps me humble in the process, because I think maybe I'm afraid of killing that imposter syndrome for the fact that ego could be even a worse demon to be dealing with. And I almost like to be humble in film shoots and sets, because there's this weird hierarchy that this world has that is so ridiculous. Like we're artists, we're not brain surgeons. This isn't really anything that someone should be intimidated from somebody, or that you should have an ego for. Even the best of the best, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
I love that. I've been fascinated with the idea of making a feature. The fact that you're able to make Sway in, killer budget, killer time, just reinforces the fact that I probably just need to just start writing the script and getting the concept down and, really kind of building out the art behind it. Because I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but when we get into this role or into this world, we often get sidetracked by the stuff that, you got to do this to pay the bills.
Yep.
Right.
A friend of mine called it the golden handcuffs, because filmmaking is a very lucrative job. And there's basically, I feel like there's two channels. There's the make a lot of money as a commercial person and work for brands. And then there's be a starving artist. Yeah. And I think the starving artist haunts the financially sane person, and the financially sane person's insanity influences the artist. Yeah. And finding that middle zone is really where
it's tough.
Great artists live. But and I really think that is where great art can be made. To go make a feature film just to scratch an itch is great. I'm not interested in that anymore. I'm interested in making feature films that are financially viable, that have an audience, that can make money at the box office, that can push my career forward, because money comes with eyeballs. And if I'm trying to make something that people are going to see, it's also going to probably make money. But I also don't want to be on this hamster wheel of making stuff no one wants to see. Mm-hmm. So I think being able to dance. Have you ever heard the story of like the businessman and the fisherman?
No.
It's a bit of a long-winded one, but it's basically like this businessman goes to this Mexican fishing town, and he's on vacation. He's just like closed his last company. I'm going to botch this story for anyone who knows this story. But basically, businessman goes on vacation in Mexico and sees this fisherman off on the shore, and he's just catching these big, massive fish. So he goes up to the fisherman. He's like, "Hey, man, like, what are you selling these? Like, what is the whole fish thing? Like, what do you do here?" And he goes, "Well, I have the best life. I come here, I drink a bottle of wine, I catch some fish, I bring it home to my wife and kids. We have a lovely afternoon. I make the fish, and then I come back out again the next day and live the best life ever." And the businessman goes, "Well, have you ever thought about, having a little shop here and, building out like a little bit of like a fishing setup?" And the guy goes, "Okay, like, and then what? Like, what happens after that?" He goes, "Well, if you got big enough, your fishing business could, maybe escalate, get a little bit larger. You could have a couple different like fish stores, and you could be catching fish and serving these like high caliber restaurants. I have contacts with these Michelin star restaurants." He goes, "Okay, and then what, senor?" He goes, "Well, then, you could maybe have a bigger supply, be a bigger supplier, catch fish and really supply to these larger chains, go to grocery stores, restaurants." He goes, "And then what?" He goes, "Well, then you could probably probably get to the point where you have the freedom to be sitting at home at a sunset, having dinner with your family and loving your life. And it's kind of this weird circle that we get caught in, which is like, striving for the freedom to which we had when we were young filmmakers or young creatives, and then getting lost in the financial, the businessman aspect or the fisherman aspect. And I'm always finding myself battling with, am I the businessman here or the fisherman? And I really think to be a sustainable artist, it's both. And as a filmmaker who has the starving artist haunting him, I'm always like trying to catch the bigger fish. I'm trying to like make more money to keep the roof over my head, and having no means to an end for that. And also, I just want to make movies. That's all I want to do. I just want to make stuff, and I would pay to make stuff. The fact that I get paid to do it is ridiculous. So I think more artists need to be more business savvy, and more business driven people need to find that inner artist.
I love that, because I spent my first, like in the beginning of my career, struggling like crazy. And then I got to the point where I'm like, I need to make a change, and I need to understand the work behind it, the business behind it. And so I spent a lot of time learning the business, became really good at the business side of it. And now I'm at the point where I'm like, yes, the business part is great, but the art part is great too. So let me take some of the assets that we've built up here and apply it here so that we can do cool things, so we can build. And it's just, I think the starving artist trope is, I think we should banish it. Like you should be able to have, your art and a mortgage.
Yes.
Those are not, enemies.
They're not. And, I think like we create self-inflicted bottlenecks, not to say that there are people who are obviously starving artists who do struggle, but in an industry where it's so lucrative, I think having a healthy balance between both being the artist and also having a roof over your head can exist, and it's very accessible. Talking as someone who had no support other than my parents' like thumbs up, YouTube tutorials, and then just reaching out to local businesses, like that was kind of it. And I think just a curiosity, like I remember I heard another DP talk about this, that, film is only 100 years old, or maybe a little longer, a little shorter, give or take. It's such a short medium that there's no way to do it. That's why TikTokers are now the ones that are making the most money out of this, because they are not doing things by the rules. They're just kind of doing what they think is cool. And 9 times out of 10, or 1 out of 10 times, they become viral and they do well. Mm-hmm. And those other 9 times, they're sloppy or they're not good, but at least they're just like getting the paint on the wall, versus you go from this corporate angle and everything has to be perfect. It has to be, well, we've got all these metrics to say that this thing worked well. Thor, this movie worked, so we got to do another 5 Thor films, or this commercial works, so we have to shoot it this way. And it really like taints the creative perspective. But when you work with like really creative people, like one of my favorite people to work with is cinematographer Nick Pilecki, and he'll go on a commercial shoot for like a grocery store. Yeah. This might not be a real example, but I know he's worked with these brands that want it this certain way. And he'll be like, well, why don't we just go like blue and red lighting? And they're like, well, that's not the way it looks. He's like, it's a commercial. Yeah. Just relax. Razzle dazzle people for 30 seconds. Yep. That's all they want. And that's all we want, is just an opportunity to escape our boring world, to have a heightened reality for 30 seconds to an hour and a half.